I'm Paula, staff of the Department of Sociology and Criminology, and today I'm talking to two third-year students.
Hi, my name is Rebecca, and I'm doing a Bachelor's Joint Honours degree with English and Sociology here at UCC.
Hi, my name is Finch McKee, and I'm doing a Bachelor's Joint Honours in Philosophy and Sociology.
Right, both of you, can you tell me how did you come about to pick sociology as a subject in UCC? Rebecca, you can go first.
So I suppose for myself, it came about to many areas that I had previously studied in because I did come through the FETAC route. And my previous studies were based more on media. And with that, we were analysing the society and media and how it came about today, as well as touching off politics. And in a lot of my studies there, I did have to focus on societal factors and how has that impacted, everything around us and how has it shaped kind of what it's become today. And then as well, I suppose the Leaving Cert kind of curriculum also shapes that interest by if anyone's doing home ec at the moment, you'd have had to probably study the family and, class and societal factors there as well. And I think that's what really started kind of getting me thinking, what about, how has all this came about? You're learning about traditional Ireland. How did we get to this point where we are now? And I think that's kind of where my interest flourished. So yeah, I think that's my main finding. And I think as well, if you're moving on from home ec or anything kind of around those figures where you're doing the societal part of home ec, sociology might be a really good interest for you. Finch, did you have anything really from school or anything like that that would have shaped your interest?
Well, I came in as a mature student and had a bit of an untraditional schooling background. So it isn't directly from my kind of primary or secondary education where I got the interest. It's mostly actually through philosophy. In my independent learning kind of through my life, it's always a subject I kind of came back to as a default. Whenever I wanted to learn something new, it would usually be something in philosophy. And eventually that kind of solidified into social philosophy. So thinking about how society gets shaped, power structures, how to think abstractly about various political forms and relationships. And what led me to picking sociology as a subject is actually talking to a graduate of the philosophy program in UCC. I was talking about my interest in philosophy, and she recommended taking sociology as one of my 4 first-year subjects. And so we had this long conversation about what sociology is and what it can do. And it seemed to me a pretty natural, companion to to philosophy. And it's been great.
So you said it's been great. So what did you find? Was it as you expected it to be, or was it very different? Finch?
I would say it is quite different, but in a good way. It did more than I was expecting it to do. So going into philosophy, there tends to be a little bit of a focus on the abstract, and that's not a bad thing. But it's a somewhat different way of thinking. And what sociology brought me was this very practical, grounded way of thinking based in actual human experiences and how things play out. So on one side, I could philosophize about a given political system, how it works on paper, but then sociology gave me a way of looking at how it actually works when you have people interact with it. And I think that combination gives you a really fresh and varied view on society.
And Rebecca, what did you find when you started to study sociology with us?
When I first started sociology, the first class I think was with Kieran Cohan, and honestly, he's probably one of my favorite lecturers to date. And to be honest, the first class you're sitting there and he's going through these theories and you're like, this is so much different, but it's good. It's a good different, you're learning about the mechanical and organic, solidarities, which are the 2 different societies that we would have had and how we've jumped from one to the other. And then, in first year, you do get kind of a taste, I'd say, with each department of sociology in a way. You get a little taster of each one, and I think that's what really pulls you in. You have time to kind of, you're sitting there and you're like, I like that one and I like this one. You're getting a taste of everything. It's like ice cream. And I think as well, what really kind of solidified me kind of going on to further my studies is when I was kind of looking into what I would like to do. And like you're sitting there and you're going through like lectures at Miles Balfour, you're learning about media and mental health, and then you're going on to your second semester, you might be able to learn about childhood development, which to most people when you first hear it, you're like, that's not going to be interesting, it's about kids, I don't plan on having any. But it's more than that. It's more like the inner depths. Like you don't think of these things when you see a child play, and how this is going to impact how they develop. And that really kind of helped bring me on. And then the last one we had, which was female deviance and crime. And that really locked it in, because you're there and you're like, wow, you don't think of these numbers when you're looking at female crime, especially when society tends to go, it was a crime of passion and stuff like that. You're really getting into the nitty gritty of it. So I think getting a taster of each of these and kind of finding where I like and what I like really helped. It kind of, I suppose, it expands your palette, on what you want to study, and it does help you then kind of finalize where do you want to go down at the end of the road. Where do you want your last stop to be at UCCB? Like, what masters would you like to go on to? It gets you thinking then as well for a second year, because there's so much more options in second year. It's insane, but I think it was definitely the best choice, because you can put sociology onto almost everything that you want to do. It's robust, which is brilliant.
And what about you, Finch? You seem to be agreeing with Rebecca there, yes?
Yeah. Going through sociology, it was definitely almost daunting, the sheer amount of different places you could take it, the amount of different fields that from a distance, especially if you're coming into university study, would seem like a small niche thing, but then you look at it more closely and it splits off into 100 different specializations, each of which are bigger than you thought the whole thing was at the beginning. So there's just this scale to the field. It's absolutely massive, the different amount of things you can focus on.
We have designed first year like that to give tasters of the different aspects of sociology, so that like you said, so that students can say it's not just this, it can be this or this, So we're obviously the first year works in that way, that that students can see, oh, it is a bigger subject than I thought. And are you glad you took it now? Do you think it's going to help you when you've finished your degree?
Absolutely. So I'm looking into going into an academic future, and that will be either mostly in philosophy or mostly in sociology. But even if I lean strongly towards philosophy, sociology will still be a vital part of how I think about it. I don't think there's any philosophy essays or projects I've written that haven't incorporated some either sociological theories or of the methodology. And I think that's really, really vital. In my opinion, you can't actually do philosophy without doing sociology, at least not well. So yeah, whatever I do, it will be absolutely vital. And even outside of the academic field, often there is an idea, especially in a lot of the arts, that these subjects are good only for this kind of cyclical nature of learning it and then teaching the same thing. But I would say that sociology will have relevance pretty much whatever you do, because you can't really move through life without interacting with societies on one level or another. And sociology gives you a way of understanding those interactions and that relationship and how you act on society and how society acts on you. And I think that will be useful no matter what you do.
Yes, yeah. I find that, yes. And what about you, Rebecca? What do you hope to do with sociology?
So since my degree is English and sociology, the first obvious one would probably be teaching. And people laugh when I say it. I'd like to do English and CSP, which is now wellness. And CSP was always politics, but I think I had a really good CSP teacher where he kind of balanced everything. And the schools that I went to, wellness was also a very, very big vital role in what we did. Making sure we're all there for each other and understanding how certain things will go on to impact each other, or further down the line, kind of a bit like dominoes. So the first option I do have is to go on and do possibly my PME here at UCC. But then I am very lucky with the two options that I chose, because I can go down an array of lines. So I'm also looking at possibly going over to the Netherlands, to the University of Amsterdam, to do what's that going for me? Medical sociology. And kind of look into that, because we did have a very interesting lecture with Miles Ball from first year. And like I said, that was kind of one of the ones that kind of clicked for me instantly. Now, if I get in, great. If I don't, that's okay, because with sociology, you're lucky enough. I personally, my background has always been media, and I'm very involved with the media here at UCC. So if I was to go on, sociology again helped me to prepare with any other kind of introduction to media, because the type of media I'd be interested in would be lifestyle, and as well kind of the societal factors within Cork. So being able to kind of, understand that in a deeper level is, almost necessary to go forward in it. But, whatever the option is, sociology is also very, very helpful, no matter what you go down, HR roles, ethics, anything like that. It's going to be fundamental almost to have that background, and learning about the class system and stuff like that, no matter what your interest is. Sociology is going to be able to be there to back that up at the end of the day. So, yeah.
Yes, well, me, I love sociology as well, and I think, it's a tool for life, sociology, isn't it?
Yeah.
As well as a subject. Thank you very much for talking to me today, both of you.
No problem.
Thank you too.
Thank you.